Okay, this is going to be my first video that I post to YouTube. And basically what is happening is I live in a state that has horrible drivers. It seems like basically every day driving anywhere, I run into people or see people that just don't have a clue how to drive their vehicle. And yeah, so I got talking with my dad and with my wife and said, man, maybe these would be interesting videos for YouTube of me basically raging about how stupid drivers are where I live. Yeah, so that's what this is. So yeah, basically what's going to happen is I'm going to drive, and if something stupid happens, then you'll hear me rant about it for a couple of minutes, and then I'll, do it fast forward or whatever until something else stupid happens. So there's that. Thanks. So I actually might get a comment or two about that little intersection right there. There were actually two right-hand turn lanes there. So the inside lane of traffic should have been turning into the far right lane, while the second right lane should have been turning into the middle lane. But as you saw, that's not at all what any of the vehicles did. You had a number of vehicles on the first right lane turned into the middle lane, and you had cars on the turning from the second right lane were having to swerve around and go around. I think I even saw one car that went basically entirely into the third lane, only to slowly drift back into the middle lane. And the other problem is that's kind of on a coming from like a downhill slope there on that road, so potentially hazardous, especially in snow conditions. But it's not snowing right now. One thing that will be a subject of a future video for sure is these intersections that they've got here in Utah called ThrU-Turns. And basically it is one of, if not the most confusing traffic control situation that you can encounter anywhere in any state, and possibly internationally as well. These things it's one of these situations where some professor, some civil engineering professor at whatever random university did some computer model or something and said, oh, see, look, this lets you go through the intersection 2 cars more per hour or something like that. And then he got enough stupid people to believe it was a good idea, and now we have them all over my state. And they are the worst. Basically, instead of turning left at an intersection, you go through the intersection, and then you make a U-turn, a left-hand U-turn, and turn, then come back to the intersection and turn right where you at the intersection you would have turned left on. And even saying all that, it's just confusing and difficult to follow. But yeah, the whole idea being that traffic is flowing and not stopping and waiting for everybody to have an opportunity to turn left. But at the end of the day, it's just another, another intersection you go through, and there's these ThrU-Turn intersections are notorious for having accidents at them, either from people that have never encountered them, or don't know how to handle them, or at the other end where you're doing a U-turn and people not executing a U-turn properly, or getting the signals confused and going through the intersection, going through the U-turn portion of the intersection improperly, and they're just a ridiculous mess. Yeah, so that's something I will be making a video on those. I'll make a special drive to one that is has a particularly poor layout, because it is a mess. Not only is it a mess, but there is no the signage for it is also poor. So not only are you coming into an already confusing situation, but then the signage is abysmal, and so it just makes the whole situation even worse. I'm actually a little bit surprised. So far today, I have not had a horrible driver. I've seen a couple of questionable things, but changing lanes of traffic, or changing lanes without indicating while in the middle of traffic, things like that. But nothing I guess I would say is egregious. But just give it time; it'll happen. And it's one of those things that good driving and being a good driver is not difficult. So I have very little tolerance for people that are poor drivers, and so it gets my blood boiling, and my wife laughs and tells the kids to close their ears when I happen upon a poor driver. One thing about this camera is that the most it will do, or what it does, it's designed as a dash, a dash cam. So it records in 10-minute increments. And what that means is, it records 10 minutes. There's about a 3-second pause, or supposedly a 3-second pause, and then the next one kicks up. Hopefully, I can, pay a little bit of attention to it, and I'm not talking when that break happens, but who knows. All right, I'm about home, and sign off from there. Bye.